All right, welcome everybody. Jim, now, so will we do the following Thursday? I'm assuming we would, right? Because we
Yeah.
have to respond with conflict with anything.
Yeah, I mean, next Thursday is the 28th. So if people, we'll be here. If people are, sick of family and friends and holiday cheer,
Yeah,
want to talk cyber, we'll be here.
Jim, I think that should be a mail campaign. We're here to save you from your family.
Yes. We're
Um,
here, we're here to save you from bad actors, internal threats, and your family. We
and
do it
and
all.
and political discussions with your cousins.
and- yeah, we're the in-law savers,
Yeah.
So, all right, so now you have an excuse if if you've had enough and you're like, gosh, I really got to get on this call. And
Yeah.
to make it far more important, like you're going to be on the CEO and CTO of SaaS Alerts. They've asked you to be on a call with them. So
I would say make it even more important to say the founder of Write a Boom is on this call. I got to be there.
fair, fair. All right. So here's today's agenda. Jim and I are gonna have a little fireside chat with you all. It's not going to be one-dimensional. We need your input about cyber insurance. And then, but we're going to start off with wins of the week. Michelle is going to do a test. There's a, tremendous opportunity to win a hat. And that hat will be next day FedExed
I'm gonna hand deliver it.
with a pound
No.
of.
Michelle's going to give it to Santa, and it'll be delivered through Santa.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
I was going to say with a pound of Chips homemade jerky, So
Venison jerky.
yeah.
We make jerky?
Wait.
Yeah.
All right, Gary and Mike, I did send the newsletter to.
All right.
I found one. I found it in my I don't know where, I don't remember seeing it, but it was in my email queue and I've redelivered it.
Oh,
Okay, fantastic. Mike's got it too. So be thinking about your question, Michelle.
All right. And then we'll wrap up. Well, we'll not wrap up. We'll have Eric Monroe has been kind enough from Zofer Technologies to chat about 2024 business planning and the process he uses. And again, love to hear from you guys as we talk through this. All right, Jim, we're up to a whopping 32. I think people think it's a holiday season or something, but let's kick this off with, do we have any wins of the week? Anybody have any SaaS Alerts wins they'd like to share? Leron or Chip, did you guys have any wins in the SOC as that you guys that were notable to you guys?
In the sock. Wow.
Well,
Well, I'll say this, Andrew. I was on a call. It was Friday of last week with Pat Sullivan. It was a prospect, someone that hadn't, that was in a trial, hadn't signed up with us yet, and we were seeing an active breach from Uruguay.
Really?
Going on literally when we were doing the log review.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. If Ben Jones is on, he was probably part of that call as well.
Well, I thought you were going to say he was part of the bad actor coming
The
in.
breach. I think he may do that in his off time. I don't know, but he does good work for us. That's all I care.
Yeah, that's pretty dang cool. So who can beat that? Does anybody have anybody south of Uruguay?
So they were actively using admin credentials from Uruguay.
Is it a geolocation, Jim, that tipped it off to you guys?
That was a first indicator. And then when they went in, and they hadn't set up any respond rules or anything. They had just basically the basic setup. So when they actually went in, they saw the fact that they had done a number of other things that should have been tipped off, and if they had respond set up, it would have actually locked the accounts.
Okay.
Wow. I didn't hear about this one, Jim. Was this a break glass account with no MFA set up, or did any ideas like how they got into an admin account so easily?
So one of the guys on the call excused himself and came back 15 minutes later after he had locked everybody out. I think they were, quite honestly, maybe a little embarrassed and didn't want to go through the details. We just know what we saw. bad actor coming in from Uruguay using admin credentials. And, they had been able to, find a lot of other information based on the time they were in there.
Wow.
That's so cool. What did the partner say, Jim? Like when this was going on?
Wow, I guess this is proving its value already.
So did you say you're going to deploy it everywhere?
Yeah, that's a general line of questioning after something like that.
Well, I just want to know your close rate, so that's why I'm asking.
54% of people do trials convert.
All right. Good. So nobody else. This is you guys are just too bashful.
Andrew, I have a quick product update when you're ready.
Oh, okay. Leron, you said no product updates, so
I know, so we didn't put you on the agenda.
Oh, well, you know how it is. We move fast. Things change by the time I was asked, and
got it.
whatever that was. And my product update is basically I'm gonna ask Amanda to give a product update.
Yeah, we just want to let everybody know that the threat mitigation report as of this morning is back on production and operational. So this is the second Fortify report to remind everybody. This is the one that once you've been using Fortify for a little bit, it's going to show you the history, scores, and the trend mark, the benchmark and the trend line of the score.
Nice. Has anyone played around with it yet that they want to talk about? Share? Anybody?
Why
Bueller?
today, Jim? It's like it must be like right after lunch Eastern time or something.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I just want to make sure that, the stuff that we're putting in the product, people like and are using and find useful. That's the bottom line.
Well, I hope they like that one because that came straight from feedback from partners, mostly on this call.
That's why I'm saying it.
So it's readily available now, Jim?
Yes.
Yep, Amanda just told us it's in production.
In
As we
production.
speak.
All right. First person that launches it, uses it, can get a hat also. And
Exactly.
2
Boom.
pounds of beef jerky, venison from Chip.
Yes. Venison jerky from Chip.
All right.
What could be better? Mike's already in there. He's looking at it now. He says it looks slick. Thanks,
Awesome.
Mike.
Appreciate you looking at it, Mike. By the way, Jim, Chip, feedback on App Wizard. Like, what are we seeing in terms of, are we getting more signatures and are people submitting more requests?
Yes and yes. Let's see. Michelle, do you have a last count by any chance from Amy on where we are with the petition?
Yeah, we are over 100. I think we're like 135-ish.
Okay, so 135 on the petition. Obviously a long way to go. And I can tell you why that's super important. I just came from a call with someone that has a direct relationship with a CISO from Intuit.
Really?
Yes. So we're trying to leverage that relationship to start talking to them about the number one application that we're getting requests for is QuickBooks Online.
You wonder, Jim, and I'm trying to be pessimistic. You wonder how, like, if it's the internal CISO, how much, leverage he has over product.
That's something that we talked about on my call with. So we're looking at all different angles, but
Yeah.
you need an entry point. You need a C-level entry point if you're going to make change like this. So work our way in and see what we can do. But it's one of the reasons why this petition is so important, because the more folks we have that are signing it and putting their name on it, the bigger the case we can make. And this individual I was talking to about that, he said, look, one of the things that always drives enterprise sales leaders, numbers. Like if you show us that the numbers are there, they do the work.
Or, you wonder, is QuickBooks, you mentioned enterprise, is QuickBooks Enterprise in the same as QuickBooks, standard online, Jim, in terms of lack of?
When I say enterprise, I'm just talking about enterprise companies in general.
No, I understand. It just
Yeah.
made me think of QuickBooks Enterprise, because let's just say QuickBooks Enterprise is just like standard QuickBooks online and doesn't have APIs. I mean, that's where I would say, well, do you know your metrics on who's going to NetSuite and other platforms, just because your security is lacking here, and here?
Right.
And do you know
Well, I mean, that's one of the points I made in terms of, I don't even know how many people are monitoring NetSuite for security events. But I said, if we're able to do this, it automatically enhances QuickBooks Online security posture. And that's
Yeah.
something that we can market and promote.
you would think they'd want to market and promote it that way,
You
but
would think.
right, for more, to your point, is enterprise value, what they're
Right.
looking.
Right. I was just literally had a conversation early this morning with one of our vendors on the personal side here at the house, and he's a landscape architect, and
Right.
he was talking about the fact that he got taken for $9,000 this year because someone fished one of his employees, and she went into QuickBooks and did the transaction, and he was like really intrigued about what we do at SaaS Certs. But it's amazing how many people are using this one financial application. Like, I'm willing to bet they probably have 7% market share in small businesses.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's again, if you think about the persona, it's not surprising, Jim, in that most SMBs don't even care about MFA or use it. On the margin, we know that through your lens.
Right,
So
right.
it's anyway. All right. So and unfortunately, it takes things like supply chain attacks to typically move the needle, but hopefully you guys can do it with the petition, and we'll keep getting behind that. All right. All right. So again, once, twice, any takers on wins for the week? Michelle, do you want to, or Jim, do you want to just reiterate what it is? Like, does everybody know what and is there anything in it for them other than, obviously protecting their customer, which is the number one, or their own business for the wins?
Wins of the week.
Yeah.
It's just
What does it look like?
it's just anyone that was able to catch an internal or external threat using SaaS alerts within their customer base. As simple as that. Like what I just mentioned with the Uruguay example.
Right.
I have a little win. It
Oh,
was actually
nice.
showing that we didn't have an event by getting all the reports out of SaaS alerts. We had a VIP at a client site had gotten an email. It was a common scam email but they didn't see it like that, and we were able to show that with all the reporting that their account was okay, and it was just a scam. So there was nobody from Uruguay on their account.
Nice. But Anne, what was when you were able to dig all that up on behalf of your customer and you were able to show them in living color what was going on, like what was the reaction?
I think we were able to give them some peace of mind, and and also prove to them we're actually we take this really seriously. We're looking at it, so we're able to contain it pretty quickly.
For what time?
That was
I think that was an automated voice from somewhere.
Okay.
So, Anne, I'm interested in how your customer asked you to demonstrate that, and let me couch it completely. One of the hardest things to prove in an audit scenario is a negative. So did they present to you the question, hey, how can you prove to us that we were not hacked? Or did they ask it the other way around and say, we think we have a problem, show us how we were secure?
I think the VIP reacted to what we would all recognize as a pretty common scam. So, and as we all know, you can't prove with 100% certainty that something didn't happen, but being able to show, there's no alerts on this address, and going through, was able to just give that peace of mind, and then, you know, also show our value. So
Got it.
we were able to close the loop pretty quickly, which was nice.
Okay, so I'm
Nice.
gonna since we have you, I'm gonna dig in a little further. Anything missing on our reporting side that would have made this easier for you?
I think we were able to get what we were looking for pretty quickly. So it was just kind of like a rapid response showing, you know, what they thought was happening wasn't happening. Yeah, we got in pretty quick, and we're able to see what we needed to see. So it was good.
It's great. Thanks for the feedback, Ian.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Ann.
and thank you.
It's
And-
and like Chip said, it's difficult to prove a negative, right? But one of the things that you've demonstrated is the fact that you've got your fingers on the pulse of their environment to the point where you can just pull this up at a moment's notice. You said a key word in your reply, it gave them peace of mind.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what we're here to do. We're here as MSPs to give our customers peace of mind that we're in control. We're looking at everything we possibly can, and we're delivering a result. That result is peace of mind.
And Jim, I would argue positive, impact on their business, right?
100%.
Yeah, not just peace of mind is certainly part of the byproduct, but by, uptime and just lack of business disruption, right? They're able to continue to drive revenue and all the things that go
Yeah,
along.
do what they do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, one of the things I always told when I had my MSP, I told people we're ultimately in the goodwill business. Like, you have a reservoir when you sign a customer, you have a reservoir of goodwill. Relationship's brand new, and everyone's excited, and then the reservoir can go up and go down. The more positive things you do that they recognize, your reservoir of goodwill goes up. When things go bad and they perceive that your responsive time isn't good or you're not doing your job, the reservoir goes down. Eventually, if that reservoir of goodwill goes completely empty, you're bounced as an MSP. And I think ultimately in this situation, you were able to positively increase the goodwill in your reservoir.
Yeah. And we need goodwill. So it was a good thing.
Yeah. We all need goodwill. So great.
And I have one closing question. Is that a gun target behind your head there?
No, that's it's a poster from Intel, and it shows a wafer and a whole bunch of microprocessors through the year. So no target behind me.
All right, fair enough. All right, Jim, let's move on in to you wanted to kind of readdress the cybersecurity relationships with cybersecurity relationship with Beltec. And just quick, if you could put in chat yes or no, were you here, a Y for yes or N for no, were you here when Dustin came on and spoke about Beltec? And so I just want to get a quick pulse. Jim, should I ask Chip? You said Chip has a good understanding. Chip, can you give us the Reader's Digest for those that, definitely some people on weren't here. What is it? And why should people care? And then we got some questions to ask along the way.
Yep. Well, Beltex has put together a program aiming at the MSP marketplace to help MSPs offer cyber insurance to their customers. And this is an initial program. They have a fairly small underwriting cap that they're looking to achieve through 2024. They came to us. Well, we have a pre-existing relationship with a couple of the folks at Beltex. They came to us and said, hey, can we, try and sell this through your MSP channel, get some of your MSPs engaged in it. It's obviously important that not only MSPs themselves and companies like SaaS Alerts, we have cyber insurance. I hope many of you do, but that your customers do also. And the reason that there's an interest is because from an underwriting perspective, there's an assumption that selling through our group of partners is going to help them find customers who are going to be more interested in their own security, who are probably being covered by a product like SaaS Alerts and potentially other products, and are frankly a safer risk, and can help them build a credible case to grow this and expand this into the SMB marketplace overall. So that's kind of a top level view.
And since hearing about it, the folks that have on has anyone looked into it? Does anybody, has anybody spoken to Dustin? Okay, so Jim, again, we have a smaller group on today, but let's talk about last few minutes of the webinar. Okay, yeah, no problem, Chad. We're going to talk about it now. So the first question, Jim, to find out, is there interest at large is, and again, this is where we need your feedback, either through chat or if someone's brave enough to come on. I don't think we're too scary. Is cyber insurance a requirement for for your customers to have in working with them as an MSP? Anybody want to come on and give some perspective on that? Has your perspective changed over the past few years or a year or what have you?
It's definitely a major focus for us when we're talking to our customers and doing our periodic reviews, is making sure that they've got coverage. When we redid our MSA a year and a half ago, we have a specific exclusion for incidents. And we want to make sure that people have a method of getting help from the appropriate authorities. In prior years, we covered incidents and put in lots and lots of time to remediate an office, remediate a situation, and didn't get paid for it. And now, because people have this insurance, there's no reason for us to get caught holding the bag, and we want to make sure they're adequately covered.
Gary, amen to that. Are your SALs reflecting of that too now, like aligned to what you just said, or is that what you're referring to?
Wait, say that again?
Scopes of work with your MSAs with your, where is it denoted that, hey, this is as far as we go with our relationship?
It's in I think it's actually in both the MSA and our statements of work, which are a little bit more detailed. I think it was actually in both.
Really glad to hear that. And anybody, thank you for coming on and talking about it. Look, I'm going to make a statement here, Jim and Chip, but again, I'd love some other, input here from MSPs. There's two really big reasons. Oh, go ahead, Stephen. You got your hand up. Let me let you chat.
Oh, hey, all. Thanks. Yeah, I was just going to share that we had a similar sort of experience, I guess, with this Gary, where we have sort of the ownership has worked into our agreements where there is some level of coverage and response with incidents, but I believe they're having a cyber insurance policy or not. I could see that definitely playing into that, and the with the broker that we're working with, for us it's Tech Rug, and there is a relationship there, and there is a benefit for us where if there is a response, there'd be a easier communications between us, and we'd be able to participate in that response. And so that's how we're sort of approaching it. And I think our response hours or the time would be at a lower rate for the ones for the customers that are kind of under that sort of arrangement. So that's one way that we've started approaching it, and that's getting worked into the new agreements. Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like you have a certain amount of engagement if there is if you denote there is an incident.
Yeah, and how much we'd be able to, kind of do before, that would have to be, a billable effort there beyond.
Yeah, you want to be really clear, right? And again, I wish I had Eric Tilds on here and Chris Lair and some others that live and breathe in this business, right? And a breach attorney. So, right, we want to be really clear on where our work stops and what we're willing to do and where that stops. And then when we call either IR or cyber in, but I want to say something, then I'll turn it to Eric and then Enrique. Look, there's two huge, if I'm an MSP today, there's two huge reasons I'm requiring a customer to have a cyber insurance. Financial, right? This is in essence, a mitigating control. Without cyber insurance, they are under, they're fighting again, a gunfight with a knife. The second is, and it goes right into this about the financial impact they're going to have. I mean, just think about every hour an incident goes by. Minimal amounts of players involved are multiple attorneys and incident response. So take 600 to 800 an hour and multiply that probably times 3 or 4 at bare minimum. And then the other part is, why as an MSP, why do I want it? Because more than likely, let me ask you a question, Eric. Your customer, for whatever reason, doesn't have cyber insurance. They're blowing through thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars an hour. You did a good job in your MSA and say, hey, we don't handle incidents. And you prove that for whatever reason, it wasn't anything that you did wrong. It was the customer did something and let an actor in. Now they don't have much money left, but the breach attorney is saying, hey, we need feet on the street along with the IR team. They're not sure they're going to pay you because they don't have much money left. Are you going to leave them hanging? Or
part of our MSA, which was done by Eric Tills, was our clients have to have, it's mandatory, right?
Totally.
And when we don't cover any of those costs.
But role play with me, pretend you didn't. Would you leave your client hanging?
Absolutely not. You'd ruin your reputation.
Yeah. So that's my point, is you don't want to sit there knowing tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars are going to walk out the door to get this customer potentially back up and running. And there's nothing left for you. Because trust me, the attorneys and the IR firms are going to want their money way before, and get it way before you will. So those are the two main reasons. But Eric, you had your hand up, and I'm glad to hear that you're working with Eric and made that mandatory, because I think it's really good business for you and the customer, quite honestly.
That's all I wanted to say was that, yeah, we're mandatory, and we specifically say that incident response and breaches aren't covered under any of our working agreements.
Yeah. Enrique's got his hand up as well.
Yeah.
Hey
Enrique.
guys, good morning, everyone. Happy holidays. So for us, being a new MSP, we just had our first year, which I forgot about it last month or end of the month.
Congrats.
I guess area of the world that doesn't believe in multi-factor, doesn't believe in cybersecurity. So we can't even dream about making our customers have cyber insurance for us to onboard them as a customer, as that is part of our main role, is to be able to get them there to apply for cyber insurance when they don't even believe on it. So yeah, for us, it's really not an option. That's kind of why we were born, to kind of take them to those steps and get them to the cyber insurance world.
Got it. So you're sitting there saying you'll take somebody on, but with the requirements that we're gonna walk you through the process to get cyber insurance. Am I hearing you correctly?
We don't legally mention it that way, but that is our end goal. We tell them every day, it's like driving a car without insurance in 2023, and forget about just general liability. You need full coverage. So yes, that's the end goal at the end of the day, but we don't make them sign and say they will. After we were victims of a very big ransomware attack in 2021, I started one MSP as I needed to do it for my own companies. And
Right, I remember you said that.
I got on that mission of helping people understand they need to do something different than what they do today. And it's baby stepping, and it's slow. It's a heartache because it's hard talking to them every day, and it's like a constant battle. You're fighting 1,000 to 1, but that's what we're here for.
Yeah, okay. Anyone else have a different opinion or feeling on this? All
So
right.
Enrique, can I follow up with just one question? Is it a lack of understanding risk, or is it a cost thing that you think puts up the barrier with the customers that you're handling?
I would say it's a combination of both. So our customers are on the border of northern Mexico and South Texas. We're actually competitors in the different space that I got hacked in 2021. And when that happened to us, there's a very famous word in Spanish that it happened because it's more foul language than stupid, but it happened to us because let's forget unlucky just because we were stupid. And it won't happen to them. So it's no one has a budget for cybersecurity in our neck of the woods. A lot of companies in Mexico still operate with pirated software, which in itself is a risk because it's malware. You got all these KMI key generators and things like that. So it's really a mess. And they have the money to do it. They don't believe it could happen to them. They don't budget it as such because not even their IT people know about it. So it's a mixture of both.
Yeah, got it.
Thanks, Enrique.
You're welcome.
So Jim, coming all the way back to you, one of your questions to me rhetorically with this week, is this something we should put effort to in SaaS alerts? So can you sum up like why, what the benefit is, and in terms of why Beltec is different, because in terms of, the way in which threat actors are attacking, the two top ways we know are credential theft and web-based application attacks. And so really boiling that down, that means all the things that SaaS Alerts is doing around M365 for most of your customers. Are there outliers for those two TTPs? Yes. But by and large, our customers are getting, attacked in M365 in some portion. So again, you want to summarize the portion where SaaS Alerts makes a difference, and should you put any more effort into this? Really is what I think we were trying to figure out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then, and Chip can certainly chime in here with me as well. But, and some people have mentioned Quark in some of the comments, and we had those guys on, I don't know, probably 6-7 weeks ago on this call to talk about what they were doing on the cyber warranty side. It's not cyber insurance, it's cyber warranty.
Correct.
Difference.
Very big difference.
And at that point, we felt like we were already in conversations with Fifth Wall, which turned into essentially Beltex. And we ultimately wanted to take it a step further. And that's why we developed the relationship we did with Beltex, so they can leverage all the information that we have from SaaS Alerts, right, to essentially create policies for MSP customers and create better policies. We feel like it's important here at SaaS Alerts why we developed a relationship. But as I look out to 2024, I guess, when we start pouring energy into different initiatives to bring to our community, is this one that we should be continuing to promote? That's my question to all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before people start answering, and hopefully they will, I want to add in. So it's because Jim's not making it clear. We don't have any financial incentive in this at all. Like, we're putting some effort and energy behind this, but we don't have a dog in the hunt, in terms of who you insure with or what brokers you use or what products.
Nor could you, Chip.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. It literally would be illegal for us to be getting compensated on any of it, that it's setting aside. But we also appreciate the fact that the guys at Fifth Wall and their subsidiary Beltex came to us and said, look, we think the end game here is to have, really strong preferred rates and the opportunity for MSPs to get paid if they have to do remediation work. And the data that you guys hold on the cloud side of any potential cybersecurity events really assists in that. So so that's why we felt it was worthwhile to introduce them to our channel, to pursue as, I wouldn't say a partnership, but to support their efforts to work with the MSP channel and really expand the potential of cyber insurance for the MSP customer.
Yeah, exactly. So well said, Chip, and thanks for making it more clear. And I would say, from our perspective, right, should we continue to promote that? Like, should we continue to invest our time and energy in promoting that to all of you and beyond?
Yeah, I guess a better way to ask it too, right? Shouldn't say a better way, Jim. Just a different way to ask it is, like, do you care about those conversations, like, with your customers? Are you going to have, is cyber insurance, like where Eric's like, it's mandatory? Like, we're having that conversation, and we're going to ask you and see your policy. We're not going to tell you whether your coverage is right or wrong, but we're going to make sure you have, coverage and you're comfortable with that coverage.
Mhm.
I'm just curious from others, is that important to you? And just without even what Jim and Chip are doing and SaaS.
Yeah,
I think,
no, go.
I
Go ahead.
was going to say, I think anything you can do to raise awareness, you bring out an important point. If a customer has a cyber incident and they don't have insurance, we're not getting paid. We're in the community, we can't walk away. So I think it's helpful. And like any reinforcements we can get, we strongly advise clients to have insurance. We talk about it in review meetings. We don't actually mandate it. We explain the risk if they don't have it, but we don't walk away from folks either. So I think we all help each other when we help our clients do the right thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Ann, is that look, I've known you for a few years now, and I know you're an awesome person. I know you wouldn't walk away. I just don't want to see you you're restoring a client for 500 hours, and yeah, we can't pay you.
Yeah, it's I think it helps the whole MSP community, and I think it helps the small business community, and just generally raises the level of awareness. So I think we just got to keep talking about it, keep educating folks, and this is helpful.
Yeah, but I think the other part of it is, so, we are out in every one of our reviews is part of the questions that we ask. But for those few companies who don't, being a resource and making sure that we have something to suggest, I think is a valuable tool. It's not really about earning the commission on it, because a lot of what we do isn't to get paid extra. It's our job is to provide value and provide answers.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, 100% agree, Gary. So are you suggesting that, like, do you, I guess, we're coming back, maybe help unpack what you're just saying there, because I'm not sure I agree with your statement. I'm just not sure I understand what you're saying in terms of this.
I'm saying I'm not going to go out to all of my customers and say, hey, we're now representing a firm that has cyber insurance.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
If in the conversation, if somebody says, oh, I don't know what to do, here's a provider. Now, I have a relationship with a local agent that we work with who happens to write our insurance, that I also recommend. If we compare the policies and I find that it's advantageous, and I haven't had time to do it yet, then, it is something I would say, here's something for you to consider. And a lot of our companies would take it on our recommendation.
Got it. No, that's helpful to understand, Gary. Really helpful.
Enrique's got his hand up there, Andrew.
Go ahead, Enrique.
Thanks. Going back to your question, is it helpful for us, for you all to have this content and share with us? I firmly believe yes. Everything we learn every day, we learn new things. I think this is helpful. We just got into cyber insurance recently, last year ourselves, for our own company. So yes, it is helpful. I think we don't want to focus 100% on talking about insurance on these calls, but anything you bring to the table will educate us, for those of us that are not fully educated on the matter. And I don't think we could always be fully educated. but they'll help us turn around and educate our customers when we get to that point. None of our customers know where to even start about cyber insurance. So we do put on the table, not as affiliated to us, but hey, this is who we use. Talk to your local agent, your broker, and then here are some people that kind of specialize on cyber insurance. So yeah, we appreciate it, and I think it is a value.
Yeah, and I think, thank you very much, Enrique, for that. It comes back to one of the things Gary was saying from my perspective, right? It's like if you're talking to a customer, they know you think they should have, cyber insurance, or they're asking you how they could get it. Our thing is, look, if we're presenting, if you could say to them, and if this is helpful, look, we're aware of resources out there. Beltex is one of them because we use this specific, tool set. We're looking at your SaaS information. I think, they could be giving you a pretty good policy type of thing. And then you put it in their hands and go from there. But that's kind of the power of, bringing these resources together. So, they're there and you can leverage them when the time is right.
All right, Andy, you got a quick one for us and we'll jump into here with Eric.
Just a quick one. I think it's also important to talk, I would relate this to a personal care physician versus a surgeon, right? And insurance isn't necessarily required for an annual physical, right? And if we clearly define our scope as we're kind of like a GP, we don't specialize in recovery from ransomware. We do our best to prevent it, but your circumstances happen in your life that you may need insurance for from a healthcare perspective. The same thing applies today in cyber. Oh, is it not coming across?
Now it is. You froze.
Okay. Was this heard or not? Do I need to try this again?
No, we had him the whole time. Andrew, you must have froze.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I hope that helps to one, define our role in this process, why insurance might be valuable, because you may need a specialist at some point and we're not that.
Yeah. So Jim, it sounds like what are your thoughts based on what you're hearing?
I think it's just more of an education game and awareness game and making sure that, people know what the options are. So, we'll probably highlight it. We'll keep highlighting it. Maybe, once a quarter or something, bring Dustin on to share what's new. So people can at least, again, understand the options.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, one thing I would say is it would be interesting to bring him back as Dustin as the MSP, being the MSP owner, because it's what's really transformed his sales motion more than anything. So let me close it out with this, Jim. And I think let me ask you guys this. Would it be helpful for you to hear from Dustin and how he's literally transformed his sales engine? And the reason he got interested in cyber is because he saw it as a huge wedge. Now, I'm not saying this is the only way you should go sell, and I'm saying this has become his way, that he uses it in every single sales situation, and it's made a monumental difference. And so much, he believed in it so much so that he got, he went for his insurance license and all these other things. So, all right, Chip. Jim.
So I think next up, let's have Michelle ask her question, and then we can get to Eric.
All right, Michelle, do you need the slides?
No, I don't need the slides. So do we want first person to put in the chat or yell it out? What do we want to do? Let's keep it civilized.
First person to put in chat, that way we can see it as it comes through.
All right.
And people's typing skills will be tested as well.
Okay. So you guys can paraphrase. What was the quote of the month, the partner quote of the month for this month?
What was the whole quote?
It's not that long. You can paraphrase. I mean, just the gist of it. It was a good one. Gary. Yeah.
So it looks like you just sent me the email. It has to be right in front of me.
Right.
So before SaaS
It should've
starts,
been
I
right
had
in
no
front of
hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So it looks like Mike got it from what I can see.
Andre got it.
So
Yeah.
Mike was first, I think.
No, Gary. It looked like Gary.
Gary was first.
Gary was first?
Yeah. Who's that quote from, Michelle? I haven't seen the newsletter yet. So
Well, it
Yeah,
is-
oh, it was Reginald, well, Andre from Arc Solvers.
Oh,
Got it.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
Gary's got a hat.
All right, Gary's got a hat.
Good job, Gary.
All right, Gar.
Santa will
Congratulations.
get it to you soon.
And regiftings allowed with SaaS alerts hats, Gary, just so you know, right?
What's that?
Regiftings allowed with SaaS alerts hats.
Andrew's angling for a hat.
Absolutely.
You know,
Hey,
I think there'll be hats at Right a Boom, Andrew. I'm sure you can
Yeah.
grab one.
Andrew, if we're gonna do this every week, I think you need to license the Jeopardy music for Final Jeopardy.
That's right. That's
So
right.
that, you know, you can play that along while we're waiting.
That's fair. All right.
Thanks for
let's
playing,
talk-
everybody.
Yeah. All right, let's talk the last, gosh, Eric, we might have to continue this next time, but I wanted to bring, I said to Eric and Jim, this week, I'd like to do something other than threat and, all the things we do week in, week out, right? Which is, as we head into 2024 here, somebody that is diligent about business planning, and get under the hood of what Eric does. Eric, welcome, quick overview. I know you're on the call, but for those that might not know you, just maybe a quick overview of yourself and Zofer.
Yeah, we call ourselves a TSP, Technology Success Partner. We are kind of a cross between an MSP and MSSP. We've been in business since late 90s and really striving to grow and provide better services.
Awesome. All right. So you go through a business planning process each year, and yours starts off. Well, first, Gary, real quick, why business planning? Just from your perspective, if you could give us a quick high level, why you guys do it.
Is it Gary or me?
To you. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. So obviously, if you don't plan something, you're not going to get the goals that you need. And so we really have specific goals that we want to attain. And we dedicate the time and the resources to the planning to get to those goals.
Awesome. And in chat, just let us know, or do you guys do a diligent business plan every year, and do you do quarterly reviews of those? So Eric, why do we start off, or why do you does your company start off with the staff review, the gap analysis? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we have a business coach that we work with every year, and he holds a gap analysis team meeting with our staff, and my partner and I stay away from that, so let them kind of express without any encumbrance of their managers, and we really hear from the front line of what's going on and what they think that we can improve on and what they'd like to see going forward or anything in addition. So it really gives us a really good feedback on what our, we consider ourselves an employee first company. So it really gives us a great launch pad to see what the front lines are doing and what our staff thinks.
I'm gonna put you on the spot here because you and I are doing this as a fireside chat. Over the years of doing this, anything like really stand out that's made a huge difference in that? Like you heard, holy crap, we had no idea, and because of that, we did this, and this has been a massive win for us.
Yeah, in the terms of employee satisfaction, right? Some things would come up and go, you know what, we really didn't consider that as much as we should, right? And that really, when the employees see us take actions to address those things, it really makes them happier and a better team member. And our turnover is very rare, and that's one of the results of the resources and time we put into this with them.
So just the process in and of itself, that you're listening and changing things based on what could make their work better at Zofer.
Right. And that's only one part of the gap analysis, right? We also look at, risk analysis while we do that, and where we can kind of close the gap for risk. And that's kind of where that whole insurance mandatory thing is. It's the risk to Zofer. Our clients don't have it, in addition to what our clients' risks are if they don't have it also.
Yeah, and again, I'm glad you brought that up, because we talk a lot about risk to revenue, right? When you're having conversations with prospects, you're a business owner, Eric. so risk is important to you, fair? Managing risk.
Absolutely. We want to be around and, we want to make sure that our employees succeed and thrive and their families along with it. And if we're not stable and have protections and a foundation to continue that, then everyone everyone benefits, right?
But notice we're not talking about technology. That's the point I just wanted to make there, Eric. And
Right.
your customers probably don't want to talk about technology either. They want to talk about what the impact around risks are and what you're doing. So
Absolutely.
So previous year review, what do you do there? Well,
Right. So we bring our MBO sheet out from the year before and make sure, we, even though we do this quarterly, we make sure that what we've done and that we've accomplished the metrics that we put behind each main business objective is addressed. And if we need to, continue that, we build that MBO again.
got it. All right. And then you move into action planning and tell us what, not rocks are, can you tell folks what you consider a rock, and then how you create the plans?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different terms for that. Top rocks or MBO's main business objectives, right? So we basically, prioritize our main business objectives. Then we develop, what does it mean to get that objective done? And then action plan underneath that of what exactly we're going to do, who's responsible for it, and what's the time frame for that to get done. So we try to be as detailed as possible in that.
And for your employees, are there certain, things that, like bonuses and things, if those things are achieved, are those taken to an account, or, when you have a big rock?
Yeah, these are more of a management business plan and not employee plans.
Okay.
We have separate sessions with our employees and what their objectives are, and we have different KPIs for them for their bonus structures if they're on one.
Okay. Very cool. All right. And then show me the money, right? So you review gross margins, determine annual price increases. Is it foregone conclusion these days to have annual price increases? Like how is that? How do you guys look at that each year?
Yeah, so like our insurance is mandatory, we build in annual price increases with our MSA. So there is a minimum price increase that we do no matter what, just to keep up with inflation. And then, it can go up from there if we decide to change our services or, add another stack item or whatever is going to allow us to deliver the best service and stay in business.
There's inflation going on?
This year was a big one.
All right. And then you review net margins. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so we run gross margin reports and net margin reports for each one of our clients, and see where that pricing is for them and make adjustments where necessary. Right.
So if you find a real noisy client that's, let's just say tickets per month point are incredibly out of whack, or some anomaly is going on there, are they going to get a proportional increase, or do you guys look at both sides of that? Maybe it's stuff we're doing or not doing correctly. How do you guys analyze that?
Yeah, we mostly do it on the macro side. So we typically get about 0.25 hours per end user of support. So if that goes up, overall, then we can kind of look at price increases that way. But anything, we've been lucky enough with our standardizations and our alignment practices that we have a really low noise help desk. So that hasn't really come up. It's more of if the client expands and they add a whole bunch of servers.
Okay.
That we'll look at that part.
Very cool. All right. And then you look at creating next year's budget. Can you walk us through how you do that?
Yeah. So we look at kind of the P&L from last year. We kind of predict our growth in customers, any growth in business trips, conferences, marketing and sales increases, costs of our employees' salaries, and we build that all in and see what it's gonna look like next year.
Very cool. And then I got three to wrap us up. I called them the final three. Can you walk us through these in our last few minutes here?
Yes, real quickly. So we go through our accounting and we make sure that, if anything's gonna be a fee for the entire year, that we make sure that those are normalized across the months. And also, we build out all those journal entries, whatever, going forward, so we don't have to do that during the year. We review our stack and our standards and to make any changes that we might need to make. And then our sales and marketing plan, we see where we want to be, and that there's a whole separate budget just into that.
Very cool. So it's interesting. I asked a lot of folks, are you doing this? Has anybody else, no one's gave feedback, but is anybody doing a similar business planning process? And as we close out 2024 here, is this something you need help with?
We do it very regularly. We're working with a strategic plan coach who helps keep us on track. We have both quarterly, annual, and 3-year plans that, every other week, my executive team and I sit down and review all that, our progress. And we're some of the things that he's mentioning are great talking points. We don't necessarily look at them like at that level, but all of them are covered at some point or another. But yeah.
Has it made a difference for you, Gary?
Yeah, it makes you more self-aware of, where do you want to spend your time? We've set objectives and assigned tasks to people. The old adage, what gets measured gets done.
Right.
And you set it as a priority, you say, oh, I've got to, do the pay stuff first.
Good.
And the other thing that we kind of look at a lot too is, what's the growth we're expecting in that year, and what does that mean by number of employees and cost basis that way, right? And make sure that as we grow the business, we are staffed up accordingly.
Yep.
Yeah, really cool. Thanks for doing that, Eric. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I know we're at the top of the hour here, Jim. Is Jim still with us and Chip?
I'm here.
Yep.
All right. So, Jim, you want to close us out? Happy holidays to everybody. Merry Christmas. I can't believe we are coming to the end of 2024 already.
I know. It's insane. So
Not much closer to spring.
yes.
Days start getting longer today.
Well, today's
Huh?
yeah, exactly.
Solstice,
Close.
right?
Summer
Yep.
solstice today, so days start getting longer tomorrow. All good.
Thank you guys for making this year better because of your contribution.
Well, thank you, Andy. Really appreciate those comments. And we appreciate all of you. Like, obviously we've grown the product a great deal over the last 12 months, and we couldn't do it without all of you. So you guys are the greatest partners out there, and we truly appreciate all of you. So with that, have a great holiday. We will be back here, same bat time, same bat channel next week. So for those that want to join, please do. But until then, have a great holiday. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
Holidays, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.